What's good, everyone? It's your homie Hermit. We're back with another reaction. This time we have Charlie Hill remembering a Native American comedy legend. This one was a special request by the homie Native Love. I'm so sorry that I dropped the ball and forgot it. I forgot it a while ago. And she reminded me yesterday, and I was like, I'm sorry. I felt so bad. I'm like, I'll have it out for you tomorrow, I promise. So here we are. Let's check it out.
I got them all reservation blues. Raise my moccasins for those white man shoes.
There's a word they call us now Native Americans, which is a generic term I never liked. We are older than America, so how can we be Native that's something we are older than?
My name is Charlie Hill. Hill, that's the family name. Used to be Mountain, but I shortened it. You know, showbiz, you get that little edge.
And we're Eastern tribes. Iroquois Confederacy is the Oneidas, Onondagas, Cayugas, Tuscarora, Mohawk, and Senecas.
And you get interesting combinations. Like I know a Mohawk married a Huron. Their kids are morons, you know. I know a Comanche that married a Pequot, and they're kumquats. Those are their kids. Then I met someone who was a Chickasaw, Potawatomi, and Paiute, and he got his enrollment card, chicken pot pie.
That's Potawatomi is one of the tribes that's in Michigan. In Michigan, I think there's more than just these three, but the three that we're taught about in elementary school are the Ottawa, the Chippewa, and the Potawatomi. And then I know, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe it was the Ottawa that they created like basically a council where they would meet every so often and do like peace talks and like treaty agreements and stuff like that, and they'd keep the peace with each other.
The Iroquois Confederacy is what Franklin and Jefferson lifted to use what they call democracy here. So the idea of democracy, that's not imported, that's indigenous, and that came from us.
I had a heckler last time I did a show. I'm on stage, and he goes, I don't want to hear that crap, Injun. I'm an American. Why don't you go back where you came from? So I camped in his backyard.
We have ancient traditions that we have and still use them, and that's what keeps us strong. But at the same time, we're also modern, contemporary people.
Nice to see Indian faces in the crowd. I won't have to explain the jokes tonight. That's nice. Glad you all came out, and the rest of you, nice to be here. And
Dude, I tell you what, coming up, watching, because the comedians I first got really into were Gabriel Iglesias, Cat Williams, those kinds of guys. So you know they weren't white people. So a lot of their jokes I had to look up because I was 10 years old watching these guys and learning how these dudes did stand up. And I'm like, I obviously it's not my culture, so I have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. So I'm always running to my computer. What's that mean? And then I'm like, oh shit, that's crazy. Run back out, replay the joke, you know? So I was always trying to get explanations because I remember being so into Latin comedians at one time. I watched that Latino Laugh Festival, the show, all the time, every morning before school as a kid. I love stand-up comedy. I always have.
that's nice. Glad you all came out, and the rest of you, nice to be here. And what else we got here? 1 little, 2 little, 3 little whitey, 4 little, 5 little, 6. That piss you?
Dude, they do that on Looney Tunes. That shit's crazy. My brother showed me and I was like, holy fuck. I was surprised seeing that. If you're an OG member of the channel, you remember one of the live streams. We watched Looney Tunes, and there's an episode of Looney Tunes on YouTube where Bugs Bunny is in blackface, and I was like, holy shit. didn't expect a character as beloved as Bugs Bunny to have a checkered past like that, but he's got that, and he sang a song like that, but you know, disrespectful to Native Americans, and he did a couple other things that I was surprised of watching all those old cartoons.
Jokes tonight. That's nice. Glad y'all came out, and the rest of you, nice to be here. And what else we got here? 1 little, 2 little, 3 little whiteys, 4 little, 5 little, 6. Does that piss you off too?
That's funny.
Come on, white people. This land is my land. This land ain't your land. Get the hell off of my land. Go find your own land.
I used to hear when I started, gee, I never heard of a funny Indian before. And the woman that said it, I thought, she doesn't know better. And it's also very funny, but also real sad at the same time.
Yeah. Anybody can be funny. Anybody can be funny, and as long comedy is an art form that doesn't belong to any specific race of people on this planet. We're all humans. We can all be funny, just like all of us can paint, all of us can write music. You know, it's not something that belongs to just one group of people. Anybody can grab a microphone, get up there, and tell a good joke. And as far as I'm concerned, as long as it's funny, you can say anything as long as it hits.
Real sad at the same time.
And I just want to say, white folks, what we're doing up here tonight, we're not white bashing. This is just a little spiritual spanking you should have got 400 years ago.
That's fair.
On Indian people, there's always laughter. Even in times of stress, sorrow, sadness, there's always that undercurrent of humor. And something spiritual, there's always something funny about it, because joviality, lightness, laughter. They say laughter is the language of God.
See, I don't have to be here. I can make a lot more money tonight at home going B27 I-19. We're doing pretty good with our casinos, folks. Someday we're going to buy our land back. From the Japanese.
And I grew up in the Oneida Indian Reservation in Wisconsin. But my wife is rooted and steeped in tradition, and my kids all know their language. I just remember I gave my father-in-law 2 horses and a blender, and that's how I got my wife. I got a lot of material in the early days from the Lone Ranger and Tonto. We grew up on it. One thing I do remember about it was when we'd watch it, my mom and dad would say, that guy's a real Indian, meaning Jay Silverheels. When Jay Silverheels came around, there was no movement, there were no acting places.
You can have top billing.
Top billing?
Well, equal billing.
Equal billing.
Okay. You can have complete sentences in your dialogue.
I can say all the pronouns I want?
Yes, all the pronouns you want.
And but he was reduced to going, Kimosabi. And the Lone Ranger would always send him into a bar. And like all Indians, he'd go into a white redneck bar in full regalia and get his ass kicked. But he called, Tonto was the word Tonto. It means stupid or fool. And he called the ranger Kimosabi, which it means he doesn't know. So he doesn't know and stupid, rode the plains for years.
Oh, shit.
Stand-up comedy, too, is one of the last bastions of...
I did not realize that that's what Tonto meant.
Stand-up comedy, too, is one of the last bastions of freedom of speech, and very few people are using it.
I agree with that.
Really say things.
White folks, you wouldn't even be here wasn't for Indian people. There wouldn't even be in America wasn't for us. You know, would still be Europe Junior. And you came to this country, and we taught you how to survive. We taught you about democracy. We taught you how to fight the British so you could be free.
You were badass enough to fight the Vikings off. You know, the British couldn't do that. The British ended up becoming Vikings.
Survive. We taught you about democracy. We taught you how to fight the British so you could be free. Hide behind the trees.
It lining up in fields to shoot at each other with fucking muskets and cannonballs. That's the dumbest thing I ever heard, dude. If I was in a fight back then, in an actual combat situation, You're goddamn right, I'd be hiding behind a tree and shooting at officers. I don't give a damn. Warfare, it's gentlemanly. No, it's not. It's fucking warfare. I'm not trying to die, motherfucker.
So come to us now. We can fix this country, all the problems it has. We can fix it because we have the owner's manual. Everything you're going through now, we've survived it already. We have the economy. What economy, you know? The war on terrorism. Hell, we've been fighting terrorism since 1492. We've only had metal detectors on Plymouth Rock. That shit would have been nipped right in the bud.
Richard Pryor I met in 1976, and I remember seeing him on stage, and I thought, oh, wow, Richard Pryor. A couple weeks before that, I see Red Fox on stage, and he liked my act, and he's making a big deal about it, but I'm embarrassed because I'm only been in Hollywood 4 months, and I'm just green. The next day, he says, here's my number. You call me. So I call him up, and he didn't remember who I was. So when I met Pryor, he gives me his phone number, and I thought, oh, here we go again. But Richard, he called me up, and he took me to the movies.
That's cool.
He says, you talk to these white people like they're dogs. We got to get together, motherfucker. And I can tell you, he's a family man. You know, he brought up his mother. It's like, wow. And every time I saw him, he had time for me, and he put me on his show, and that's how I got my start. And I was 20.
I like that. That's like Dave Chappelle, dude. He takes the younger dudes under his wing, and he's like, let me show you what's what.
He had time for me, and he put me on his show, and that's how I got my start. And I was 26 years old, and I was thrilled. And I remember calling up my mom. He said, Mom, I'm finally going to be on TV. I'm going to be on the Richard Pryor show. And there was a pause, and she goes, ain't that a shame what happened to Elvis? They wanted him to dress like Custer, introduce me, and then fall down and have all these arrows in his back. And he wouldn't do that. Right to the last minute, he was still fighting for me. But by then, they already had the scenery set up for me. So to this day, I'm the only comedian to ever come on stage from out of behind a rock. You know.
Just having a mirage here on the desert, thought I saw TV cameras in front of me. I'd like to introduce now a new talent on the show. He's an Indian brother, Iroquois Nation, Mr. Charlie Hill. Please welcome him.
Pilgrims came to this land 400 years ago as illegal aliens. You know, we used to call them whitebacks.
Oh my God.
They started unloading the boats, building houses, you know, East Coast. First thing we asked, you guys gonna stay tonight? Then I just burn you up when people come over and they never leave. Yeah, we'll leave after Thanksgiving, you know. Yeah. People celebrate that every year, Thanksgiving. You have a lot of holidays. This is Indian's country. There's no Indian holidays. There's Thanksgiving, Columbus Day, and everything. Oh, no, there's one holiday we do celebrate with white people. It's Halloween. Every year we dress up like white people, see. And we go door to door and we get anything we want, you know. Trick or treaty.
And I couldn't believe
Trick or
it.
treaty.
When he thought I was funny and I was real green, I thought, that's like Mickey Mantle telling you got a nice swing. So that's what it is, and it's good when I see these other guys and Larry, we talk about our experiences, because we have that thing all the time that only we experience.
And our true nature is love, when we thought with our hearts, not with our minds. And the proof of that is if you're ever grieving, hold up a little baby, and that just helps you with the pain. And you see a little baby, you don't even know who the baby is, what family, but you gravitate toward that baby. Oh, I love you. Oh, you're drooling. Can I hold you? Because we lock in with our hearts. And then we forget about that, because maybe 40 years later, it didn't work out for this baby. And he's homeless, and he's standing out in front of a 7-Eleven, and we don't go, oh, you're cute, you're drooling. Can I pick you up? Oh. Power of the spirit, too, you know. That's African Americans. They're living proof, too. You can't extinguish the human spirit. And they brought us the blues. They taught us, you know. It's just like our stuff. I met a guy before the show. He's really proud of his heritage. He says, Charlie, you know, my great-great-grandfather was African American and Native American. I'm thinking, that poor bastard, they not only stole his land, they made him work on it for free. You know?
Declaration of Independence, the phrase savage Indian is written in it like 3 or 4 different times. And nobody's ever changed it or addressed it or anything. And so we get people to laugh with us instead of at us. And but we're fighting hundreds of years of stereotypes just by the very act that we're up here.
I'm an Oneida, and I'm from Wisconsin. That's where my people are from. We used to be from New York. I had a little real estate problem. Take my land, please.
Charlie Hill. Well, it's nice to see somebody new with that kind of sense of humor. Take my land, please.
I always wondered how long I'd like to do this. And my dad always used to say, look at Bob Hope. And I used to think, you know what I want to do? I want to be as old as George Burns and keep doing this. And I'll be the most far-out, militant, hardest-hitting comic, because when you're an old Indian man, who's going to question you?
That's all I can do. Reservation blues.
What I'd like to do, I guess continue what I'm doing and get better at it. That's one thing. I would love to have a cable special where I could just let it go all out. I still want to try out for the Yankees. You know, I never got the call. I figured they're going to call me someday. Man, I like to be healthy and be old. I'd like to see us get our land back tonight. That's what my friend said. He saw my act one night. He says, man, you were out there tonight. You sounded like you wanted your land back tomorrow. And, well, kind of.
He passed away in 2013. Did he ever get his cable special? Because I've seen a lot less funny dudes get like HBO specials. So he definitely was worthy of one, I think. Yeah, I enjoyed that. He was funny as hell. Let me know if there's any other stand-up comedians you guys want me to check out or anything like that. I'd be interested. It's not something that I plan on becoming regular over on this channel, but it's something I'm interested in checking out every so often. Let me know what you guys would like to see next. Big shout out to everybody checking us out over on Patreon, on TikTok, on Instagram, and during our live streams. You all have an amazing rest of your day. We'll catch you at the next one. Peace.